Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. I hope you're having a great week. 1 week till Christmas, people. 1 week in a day. 1 week in 2 days. It's on a Monday, isn't it? But Christmas Eve, we're hosting Christmas Eve, so that's kind of like my what I've got in my head is like, okay, you got a week, Lindsay. You got stuff to do, and you got a week to do it. Hopefully this white sweater is not going to totally mess up all my camera levels. If it does, I apologize. You may be extra blinding, or maybe it makes me look like I have a tan. It's actually kind of a really, really pale, kind of like oatmeal pink color. And I did my nails last night. I was very stressed out. I had gotten back, well, I guess I was a little less stressed last night, but I had been like previously yesterday quite stressed out. I had volunteered to do a class at the library, and every year I do like this Christmas. I usually do a couple of classes a year. I used to do them weekly. Was it weekly or monthly? Back in the day. I think I did monthly painting classes, and then I did like monthly knitting and crochet classes for kids, and I think I did a drawing class too. So I was doing like 3 classes a month at the library back in the day. And so now I just kind of come in for special events. Like, so we do like a holiday watercolor project every year, and then like in the summer we do like a old home week type project. So I decided to do the same. I did the ornament that we did for the Michaels class, because I figured that's great. I've done it a few times, so I've got it down pat, and I decided to repaint it yesterday before I went because I'd be using my teaching stash, which for teaching I have Aquafine watercolors in the 24 Aquafine set, and the reason I have that is because it's decent paint, and Jerry's had it on clearance one year for $10 a tin, and those were typically like the regular list price on those tins, like if you went to Michaels or something and bought them, were like 50 bucks. So I bought 20 of them, and actually weird, I did that before my KonMari big clear out, but then I'm like, well, that is my teaching kit, and I keep it in one of those like rolling scrapbook organizers, and I just take it with me, and it works out great. And so I wanted to repaint it because this is what the original one was from the Michaels class. That's one we did at Michaels. It's muted because we used the Derwent line and wash set, and I only have one of those, so I used my Aquafine set because I knew I had 12 students, and I wanted to make sure we had all the same paints. I don't like to if I'm teaching a group like that, I like them to all have the same exact thing if it's beginners, and that's what the library groups are. So like they just bring themselves, and I have all the supplies laid out, and that works out well because then I can say, all right, you're looking for the red that's like 1 row down and 3 pans over, and they can find exactly what they want. And I think I liked it in the brighter colors. And then we also did the lamppost from the hand-painted holiday class, which is still on sale. If you want to check that out, I'll have a link in the video description. And also something new that that is available, that it's a little quirky. It's a little quirky, but I was looking in my Teachable, and we've been asking Teachable. I've been an instructor using the Teachable platform. So if you're an instructor on Teachable, you pay for your website, and you use their platform, and they have tech support and stuff like that. So it's very, very nice to use that platform because they handle all the tech stuff, and you just handle the kind of the creativity. I mean, you have to know some tech stuff, but it's good because that's all like, it's all laid out. It's very organized. It's a nice place to take a class too, in my opinion. And if you're interested in being a Teachable instructor, I will put a link in the video description. It's an affiliate link if you want to join. But obviously think about it because, you know, there are monthly fees. There's a free plan you can join, and that's what I started out with, but you can't really do much with a free plan anymore, unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer. But that's neither here nor there. Teachable now has the option, at least I don't know if in every school or not, but I noticed in my school that you can give any class as a gift now right there, and you don't have to like email me to invoice you through PayPal and then do a coupon code, which I'm happy to do, but this is like a seamless, streamlined thing. So the way to do this, and I had mentioned in my big gift guide that I would give 40% off any gift classes. So I will put the coupon code in the video description, but if you're not watching this on YouTube, the coupon code is ANYCLASS. ANYCLASS, that's a coupon code. And so when you would just go to my website, you'd find the class that you want, you'd add it to your cart. Then when you go to the payment page, you would look down on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a little box that says give this class as a gift. You check that, and then it would give you like a box would open up where you can put the recipient's name and email address and then write a little message to them. On the right hand side where your payment information is and stuff, you want to click the add coupon it just says add coupon in like orange font, and then you'd want to type in any class or just paste the code in the video description. That way you'll take 40% off and you'll be able to give a class and save some money, and you can do it instantaneously. Your recipient will get the email instantaneously once you buy it for them. So I guess if you did want to keep it a surprise and you wanted to wait until until Christmas morning or something, then you could always email me, and then I can make that coupon code and coupon link for you, the gift code link that you could forward to your recipient on Christmas morning. But it's another way to do it, which I'm so glad, because we've been asking for that feature for so long. So that's a great way to give a class. And also the nice thing about that is that if you can give a specific class and all of that. But yeah, and I have to say, I'm pretty easygoing. If someone's like, oh, somebody bought me essential tools and techniques for watercolor painting, but I really wanted the texture toolbox, feathers and foul, or I wanted, this one instead, I have no problem switching people into the class they want. If you got them one and they weren't as excited about that as a different class. So I'm pretty easygoing is what I'm saying. So anyways, I taught the class last night and it went pretty well, but it's always kind of, I'm not used to teaching in person. I used to do that all the time, but since like the last, 20 years or so, I haven't done as much teaching in person. I'll do like a few workshops a year. So it is a little bit of, it is a little bit, not nerve-wracking, but I am a little nervous before I do that. And I was, so I repainted everything with the palettes that the students are going to be using before, like yesterday. And I had a bunch of things that I was also on the docket to do before Christmas, work-wise. And I was just getting really overwhelmed and stressed out. And last weekend on Sunday, so remember we were doing the flat tree and I was just going to be the flat tree, and that was that. Well, my son's girlfriend told me, he goes, oh yeah, the kids said they were disappointed that there wasn't going to be a big tree. And they didn't tell me that, and then I felt bad. So my friend Cindy offered me her tree. So after I filmed Sat Chat last week, I went over to Cindy's and I picked up that tree and we hung out. And it was really nice. And so we put that up Sunday, and then I had to get some more decorations, pulled everything out of the attic and sorted through and organized all of our Christmas stuff. Went kind of like crazy with the decorating, but I don't know, once I started early in the morning and I was kind of into it, so it wasn't too bad, but I swear I broke like all my fingernails and they were in such a rough shape. So I decided that I would like, file them down and paint them, and base coat paint, couple coats of paint, the whole works. So I'm hoping that I can keep these looking decent until the cookie party on Sunday. And I know I try to remember the phrase, your fingernails are jewels, not tools, but I'm ripping into Amazon packages like a Wolverine. I can't like just not. I'm always tearing into stuff or trying to pry stuff, and I just need to like, maybe keeping my fingernails painted, I will remember, just no, get a knife, get a pair of scissors. Don't claw into that like some primitive lizard person, use a tool. You have evolved to use tools. So do that. But they're pretty now, aren't they? Behold. Oh, and speaking of beauty stuff, I had a pimple this week. There was a disturbance in the force, my friends. I had a pimple. I was very upset. People at my age shouldn't get pimples. It should be like against the law. But luckily my girls were home from college, and Lila had these little star face pimple patches, and I put it on and it disappeared. It's like, oh my gosh, can you even tell? Can you even tell? No, because it disappeared. It's amazing. So I'm recommending that product, they're called Star Face patches. And I'll put a link to it because I saw they were on Amazon. There's also a bunch of knockoffs. I have no idea if the knockoffs work or not, but I don't know it's supposed to have salicylic acid in it, which that stuff is great. I use a face wash that has that in it. But yeah, so they come in, well, I guess you can buy refills or you can buy the cute little case. The case is expensive. The one with the case with a little mirror in it, but it would be such a cute stocking stuffer. I think if you've got teenagers or middle-aged women on your list. But it did save the day because I have to do a bunch of other filming today, and I'm like, I cannot have a pimple on my face. I have to do a bunch of filming. I need to look somewhat presentable. So yay for the Starface pimple patch. So giving it a thumbs up. Did you know you are going to learn about a beauty product today? I bet you didn't realize that. What else? Let me look at my list. I don't even know. Oh, so the other thing, I was teaching that class last night, and I knew that I was going to want to do some like little enhancements because we're stretched for time. We have an hour and a half basically, and we got people like that need to wipe off their palettes and dump out water, and they're all beginners, and you know, people are trying to get there after work, but it's like a 5 to 7 program because the library closes at 7. So you know, some people are going to be filtering in late, and you know, we just got to take some shortcuts. Like, we didn't do the background. I explained, you know, background techniques, but I'm like, we're not going to have time for a background to dry. So I'm like, oh, I'll bring some white pens and some colored pencil, and we can do just a little enhancing. And I'm glad I did, because it was really nice on the bow to be able to do a little bit of shading for people. This I did with watercolor and a little white pen. But if you're a beginner, it can be very confusing to figure out like where the shadow is going to be, where's the highlights, and a colored pencil is just so easy. So that so my decoration back there, my decoration of all my, I call them my like second string pencils. They're my second, well, my Prismacolors aren't second stringers. They're not the highest quality pencils in the world, but I do like how soft and opaque they are. But then I have all like the Brute Fooners, the Mark Arts, the Arteza. They're all decent. The Marco Tributes, they're all decent pencils, but they're definitely not like my Derwent Lightfast or my Caran d'Ache Luminance. They're the second run, friends. And plus they're all colored barrel pencils, so they look real pretty back there. But I'm telling you, I just grabbed a handful of ooh! I just dropped them on the floor, so good thing they weren't my Derwent. So I grabbed a bunch of yellow ochres, a bunch of like seafoamy green teal colors, and a bunch of crimsons, and it was great. We had enough. And yeah, so my functional decoration was actually functional. I actually do use any of those pencils for like touching up watercolors, especially if you get like a rough edge and you need to like make it a little crisp. So that worked out really well. And speaking of watercolor techniques, is that a watercolor? I don't even know. I used a product called masking powder on a video this week. This week has felt like a year. I'm not even joking. I've done a lot this week, and I'm trying to think of like what videos posted and what projects I did. I'm like, oh yeah, I did these berries, but it feels like I did those berries. Did we talk about that last week? I don't even know. Did we? When did I have that up? I'm not even sure. When did I post that video? I posted that video this week, I think. I don't know. Was it for, I don't think I had it up on last Sat Chat. I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I did, I apologize for being redundant. But I used a product called masking powder, which is currently out of stock, but is getting restocked. My friend April, who owns the Etsy store, A Little Creative Me. So if you go to this video, I'm going to explain a product called masking powder. I am going to do a deep dive on masking powder. The video on YouTube is a time lapse. The video in Critique Club is a real-time demonstration of the masking powder and all these other techniques that are here. But it's neat. You brush it on. It's almost like a cornstarch. That's what it feels like. And you brush it on with a brush. It doesn't make your brush gross, ruin it or anything. And then when you paint, it's these areas where you painted on the brushed on that powder stay dry. And then after your first wash is dry, if you want to paint over these areas, you just erase it and it goes away. It removes it. It's really crazy. It's really amazing. I have no idea what it's made out of. But anyway, I used a masking powder in that, and I linked to it, but it did sell out when that video went up. But if you're curious about it, if you'd like to be notified when it does come back in, I pinned a comment explaining that the product was out of stock, and then I told April she could go and put a comment under that with a place where you could sign up for her newsletter and then get notification when it comes back in. So if that's something you're interested in, you know what, I probably could just put that in the video description. I'm going to try to remember. I know I'm talking about so much, and I'm honestly, my brain is very full today, and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, so I may forget things. If I forget stuff, you can just like, hey Lindsay, I know some of you guys are super good, and you're like, I got you, girl. I'm going to go find that link, and I'm going to put it in a comment. You guys are the best. So if I forget anything, just let me know, and I will try to put it, I will. There is no try, right? There's no try. So what else? Oh, we did this. We did this project here. We did watercolor pencils, alcohol markers, and a little paint pen. That was really fun. And some colored pencil, I think. This was a fun project. I've been trying the paper pads from Artisto, and I'm not crazy about the drawing pads. I do have a beautiful hardbound sketchbook. I have one of them right here, actually. And it's pretty, it's nice for dry media, but I like to have a little more versatility. I like to be able to use mixed media with it. So the mixed media pad would actually be my preference. You get more pages in their drawing pads, but I would rather have fewer pages. I think this is 60 sheets. I'd rather have fewer pages that I can use more stuff on, personally. I could use it for dry media, but then if I want to use like a fountain pen and I want to add water to it, I'm not going to be like ripping the paper or anything. So I like that. I used their watercolor paper on for the bookmarks that we did in class last night and for my demo pieces. And I have no qualms about this paper whatsoever. The texture is nice. It's not like super... it's not mechanical looking. It doesn't look like a tractor drove over your paper a million times like the Strathmore 300 does. This has a nice random surface. It kind of almost reminds me of some of the B watercolor papers I've used. And the sizing is really nice in it. It gets the job done. Really happy with it. I didn't do a lot of wet and wet. I just this little sample here, but it seems to do fine with wet and wet. So yeah, it's affordable. You get 30 sheets of the watercolor paper and it comes in 2 different sizes. But I have a video that's going to post tomorrow on my YouTube channel, and I haven't got to edit it. That's another thing. My list today, my to-do list is getting a little out of hand, but I am posting a video tomorrow that because you see, I had boxes everywhere. Like I mentioned, I think it was last week. I don't even know what my hair is doing today. I washed it last night. I was so stressed out. I poured myself like the biggest glass of wine. I have so many stories that dovetail together, but I opened up the box of wine that I was going to take to the Yankee swap on Sunday, and I just poured myself a big old goblet, friends, of wine, filled up the soaking tub, had myself a nice long bath, sipped the wine, washed my hair, painted my fingernails. It was a night, friends. It was a self-care night. I'm like, I need to just unstress. Undress and unstress, I guess. Where was I going with that? Oh, so yes, so I busted into the box of wine because I need to have a $25 Yankee swap gift, and that wine I couldn't find a box of wine that cost $25, but my husband found a box of Crown Royal whiskey, and I'm like, oh, that is perfect. The ladies are going to fight over that because they'll want to get that so they can regift it to their husbands. So I'm sure there are lady whiskey drinkers out there. I'm not one. I am just I'm too dainty. Too dainty. I'm too dainty for that. So actually, I did bust open the wine. I invited my friend Kathy over the other day to just chill out and have some like unstressed pre-Christmas time because she was going through it. We're all going through it. It's busy. I'm like, you know what? Let's just not do anything. Let's take an afternoon, evening, and not do a darn thing except sit around, drink tea and wine, and set the world to right? That's what we had to do. You got to do it sometimes. So that's when the box of wine technically got opened. And I just, yeah, I also partook last night after class because I was just like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I just need to de-stress. But before that, I was stressed out yesterday because I had so many boxes open in this room with various things that I purchased to review, and I had some stuff that had come in to review from brands, PR if you will, and I'm just like, I have stuff everywhere. I can't focus. I can't focus with like a ton. It probably looks like really chaotic to you, just what I normally have around me. But to me, this is just baseline. And that's fine. It's pretty. It's decoration. It's useful, but it's decorative. I like it. But when I have cardboard boxes just stacked everywhere and stuff I know I need to organize and sort, that's not good. So I'm like, well, I'm going to do a video because I'm not sure what to review first. I will do a review preview video, and that's what's going to post tomorrow. And it's going to be all of like the different sets of gouache or different open stock tubes, the different things I bought on Black Friday sales because you guys had requested reviews on it. Now I don't know what the zeitgeist is anymore. Maybe you guys are like, I don't care about that product anymore. I want to know about this one. So that video tomorrow, I'm going to have everything that I have on deck to review, and you can let me know what you want to see first. Now I have filmed out a few weeks, so none of these products are going to come out in a review until then, but if you have a preference, then let me know because I will make a Jenga pile of products in order, newest to oldest, so that when I take one off the Jenga pile, I won't have to be pulling from the bottom of the Jenga pile because I don't really want to play Jenga with my art supplies. Speaking of Jenga, I was looking for some command hooks in the room of hoard because we were going to hang some stockings up on our cabinets in the kitchen, and I thought we had hooks on all the cabinets, but we didn't. So anyway, I was going into my framing supplies, which is on the bottom of a Jenga stack. At the top of the Jenga stack, which foolishly is an old drying rack, which I didn't have any place for it, so it's sitting up there, but I don't have anything that I need to dry up there. So what do I have on this precariously stacked drying rack that's meant for like putting paper and poster board, and it's actually an old poster board from Rite Aid. I love to buy those when the stores were going out of business back when I had a studio downtown, because it was great for drawing kids' artwork. Anyway, so I had this poster board up there, and on the poster board I store sheets of glass for framing, and I have an old laptop that won't turn on, but I don't know what to do with it because I can't erase it because it won't turn on. So I'm sure I have very important secret credit card information on there, so I don't dare to just get rid of it. So that's on the stack. I've got the ingenious steering wheel table I bought because Fantasy Lindsay had delusions that she was going to go driving around and then sit in her car and paint. I never sit in my car and paint unless I'm waiting for like somebody to come out of an appointment or something. I always get out and I go and wander around, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do some winter plein air painting, and I'm going to use this steering wheel tray to hold my art supplies while I plein air paint in my car. So that's sitting over there because that's never manifested in an actual painting. And I've got some like sharp aluminum panels that are meant for painting. And so I'm getting stuff out of that bottom drawer. I'm trying to find command hooks. And then the top, that drying rack just starts, and luckily I was able to like catch it. I must have left a noise out because Jason's upstairs like, are you okay? I'm like, yep. The glass did not slide off the drying rack, thank goodness, but some things did fly. I think the steering wheel tray fell out. I was like, I need to change my ways. This is no way to live. I need to figure out what I should do with this. And it's like, I don't want to get rid of it because I may teach in person again, and when the kids are all completely out of the house for good, the addition is going to be my studio, which I will have plenty of room to have students, and I will probably need drying racks again. Or maybe I will be super duper productive and I will have all sorts of wet paintings that need to be somewhere to dry. I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on that Fantasy Lindsay future version of myself yet, so there it sits. I guess I just shouldn't store glass on it. I should find some really low to the ground place to store glass. Why am I storing glass? When's the last time I framed anything? And usually if I frame something, I'm buying a frame and making sure it includes glass and cutting a mat to fit that frame or painting to fit the size of the frame or, you know, something, so I do not need to have sheets of glass lying around. So I could probably just get rid of that. But then how do you dispose of glass? If you throw it in the trash, it's going to break. Or like a trash collector could end up cutting themselves. So it's just, if you give a moose a muffin, then you got to have some jam to go with it. And then there's all these different contingencies that you open up in your life. And that's why life is so complicated for me. That's why I'm so stressed out. And before before this thought derailed, and we came to that fork in the road, and I went over to my near beheading of glass from the room of hoard. I totally forgot what I was talking about on this side. I guess I need to look at my list. Maybe it's on there. I feel like we've really put a lot in this this whole tirade. But yes, tomorrow that video, the review preview video will come up, and yeah. Oh my gosh, so speaking of the cookie party I'm going to Sunday, because this is the year of yes. I've always said no to the cookie party because I'm like, I'm too overwhelmed to bake cookies this time of year, and I'm not confident in my ability to bake, and I'm kind of afraid they're going to make fun of me because like, oh look, she's bringing vegan cookies and she won't eat any of ours. She's not a joiner, she's an outsider. I don't know, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure nobody wouldn't even notice if I didn't eat a cookie the entire time I was there. So I was stressed out, and Lila was home. She's like, Mama, is there anything I can do? I'm home on vacation. I'm kind of bored. And I was thinking, man, maybe I could teach her how to use Paint Shop Pro software because she uses Adobe products in college. But then I was like, you want to bake 5 dozen cookies for me? And she did. So she's baking my butterscotch shortbread cookies dredged in chocolate. And I just took that right off my list. So I'm like, that's perfect. She's a better baker than I am, and totally outsourced that. I am very happy that she's home for that. Maisie's home too. I don't know, she's going to be coming and going because she has an apartment nearby, but rather than living in dorms. But that's going to be really nice. I won't have to do the cookie baking. that did like definitely lift a weight off my shoulders. The weird thing is I've never really been able to outsource editing very well. When Jason was working with a business it was, I still would have to like kind of put notes and say, this is kind of how I want it. And eventually he kind of got the flow and like kind of what I was going for. But I have a really hard time outsourcing any of the creative stuff. It's like I can't outsource responding to my students in Teachable. They're in that because they want my feedback. I'm the one teaching the class. That's got to be me. Outsourcing the editing. Most people don't know how to use Corel Paint Shop Pro, and I don't have time to learn a different software. And plus, I'm not down with the whole subscription model of the Adobe Creative Cloud. I don't want to pay every month to use software. I want to buy it, and then if I decide I want to upgrade it one day, then I'll buy it again. But you know, that's just the way I live my life. So yeah, I don't have the Adobe products here, so if I needed to have something, and I'm sure she would do a really creative editing to it, but then it's so hard when you have a creative business, you are that business and it's your vision, and so it kind of needs to be done by you, you know, and I'm not a good team player, to be honest. I mean, no, I'm fine. I'm fine working. I'm just not a good directly working with other people. I'm in theory, like I can do work for a client, and that's the type of team work I can do, but working with somebody, that's very difficult. There aren't many people that I can actually work with very well. I don't know what it is, probably a character flaw, but there we are. There we are. Oh, and I heard this, and I want to let you know, in case you like to use Spectrum Noir products, that Spectrum Noir are discontinuing all of their refill inks. So some stores have them. I know Blick still has some. I'm trying to think who else sells Spectrum Noir refills. So if you are a user of Spectrum Noir markers and you plan on refilling them and you want to have refills, I would definitely check your stash, see what you're going low on, and order them before they're gone for good. That's kind of disappointing. I would think that the trend these days would be for, I mean, because look at this, the trend these days are to make products that are reusable, refillable, that aren't wasteful, that you're not going to be throwing away markers all the time. Not that you use up markers super fast, but you know, the trend these days are to buy products that you can refill. Like Blick Studio has refills, Altenew has refills on their inks. Actually, when I did the review for the gift guide, I suggested Blick Studio or Altenew markers because they're refillable, the nibs are as good as Copic. Altenew has a fine and brush, and their nibs are the neoprene nibs, so they're nicer than the felt tip nibs. Like, I think Ohuhu's an excellent value, and now that they're offering refills, it's even better, but their brush nib is a compressed felt nib. It's not that more flexible neoprene nib, and Altenew has bigger refills than any of the other companies right now. So, and they're not really any more expensive than any of the open stock marker offerings like Blick Studio and whatnot. So it's like, I'm really disappointed that some of the legacy brands are doing that. Like Copic has poor quality control and smaller inks, and now Spectrum Noir is just not offering them anymore. So I thought I'd give you that little bit of info if you want to go with that. I'll link to the Blick anyway, so you can find those refills there. And if you know of other stores that sell them, let me know. I'm just about out of time. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!